Hello everyone, welcome to this week's Semantics reading course. My name is Mehmet Tunaz, and this week we are going to talk about speech acts, and we are only cover part 1. And here is my email address. If you have any question, you can write to me anytime you would like to. So let's start with this week's topic. So this week's topic was prepared by Shura Nur, Shuheda, and Hatice. So let's start speech acts part 1. So the form of sentences. Let's read the notifications here. When a sentence structure refers to the form of sentences in a language, sentence purpose refers to the function of the sentences. We will see the examples and the types. In English language, there are 4 forms of sentences that are used for 4 different purposes, and these are declarative sentences, imperative sentences, interrogative sentences, and exclamatory sentences. We will see details about them. So a declarative sentence makes a statement, gives an explanation, conveys a fact, or provides information. So, my cat chases rabbits. Harry Potter is the boy who lived. So, declarative sentence declares or expresses a statement, and in general, actually, it declares something. So, imperative sentence, on the other hand, consists of a command, emir cümleleri, consists of a command, demand, instruction, or request, and they start with infinitive verb, give me the money, or be quiet, or they might be negative imperatives like don't make noise, example. And the other type is interrogative sentence. It means question sentence, actually. This is the linguistic term, interrogative. It means question. And they ask questions. When does the train leave? Is your husband a firefighter? These are the example of interrogative sentences, which means that question sentences. And the final type is an exclamatory sentence, ünlem cümleleri, is a sentence that expresses extreme emotion, such as surprise, excitement, fear, or anger. And the example, that's awesome! What a beautiful country! Are the examples of exclamatory sentence. So after sentence types, so what is utterance? Actually, we should remember it from the very first lesson, face-to-face lesson of our semantics class. So an utterance is the use of any piece of language by a particular speaker on a particular situation. It doesn't have to be a full sentence. Any sound that comes out of somebody's mouth might be an example of utterance. It can be in the form of a sequence of sentences. It might be a single clause, a single phrase, or just a single word, as you see. So the purpose of utterances after the purpose of sentences. Now we will deal with the purpose of utterance. Actual utterances can have various functions that are independent of form. So let's see the example. Number 1, a person can ask a question without truly seeking information. These are called, actually, I would like to tell you the theoretical name for it. It is the rhetorical question. In such kind of question, actually the speaker doesn't wait for the answer. Like, did you really like that boring movie? Actually, you do not expect, yes, I like it, or no, I don't like it answer. You just ask it, and you just actually try to imply that the movie is really boring and it doesn't worth watching it. So it can make a statement. The utterance might make a statement that is intended as a request, like, it is very warm in here with that window closed. You can see that there is an intent. Actually, the speaker intends to make a request with this sentence actually. He or she tries to say that, can we open the window actually. So let's look at number 3. It produces a command that is not meant to elicit action from the addressee, like have a good time. Okay, this is similar to an, let's say, imperative sentence, but here we do not convey a command to the listener actually. When we say have a good time, it is just a good wish actually. It is not a command, although it is in the form of imperative sentence. And as the last purpose of utterance, utterances might be a way of informing, like, did you know it is snowing? So we try to inform the listener that it is snowing at the moment. So a speaker may produce an utterance for humor or irony that is just the opposite of the message he wants to convey. You know that they might mean the opposite of the sentence or utterance, and the form of an utterance does not necessarily coincide with the speaker's real intention. And speech acts, this is a crucial sentence, speech acts can have different kinds of purposes. So we look at syntactic classification of sentences. So syntactically, it is common to recognize 3 sentence types in English. So these are declarative, imperative, and interrogative. So declarative is a statement, declaring a statement. Imperative is the command, emir cümleleri, and interrogative is the question sentences. So statements typically have subjects, verb, and then perhaps an object, a complement, or an adverbial phrases, like the train left 2 hours ago, or she lived in the village for years. You can see the component of the sentences. So the sequence of elements can be varied somewhat, like she lived in the village for years, or for years she lived in the village. So both of the forms actually convey the same message. But the subject always precedes the verb unless other words are introduced. So this is the basic rule of English sentences. What broke was a window, or the one who broke a window was Tom, and so on. These are the examples. And affirmative commands, like positive imperative sentences, begin with the verb which does not change, and negative commands begin with do not plus the verb, infinitive verb, and the subject, if a subject is present, may be you or somebody, or like everybody, anybody, or any of them, or sometimes they might be nobody. Yani emir cümlelerinde özne kullanmıyoruz ama kullanırsak da şunlardan birisi olabilir diye örneklendirelim. Close the door please. As you can see, it is an affirmative command. Olumlu emir cümlesi yani. Don't move is a negative command. You be quiet. As you can see, this is still an imperative sentence with a subject actually. Nobody move. This is again an imperative sentence with a subject. Don't anybody move is also a negative command. Everybody wait here is also a command. Normally, be careful please. Normally, if it wasn't an imperative sentence, then everybody should have an S suffix here. So we can understand that this is a command actually. Yani bir emir cümlesi olduğunu, şuradaki wait'teki S takısı olmamasından da anlamamız gerekir arkadaşlar. Eğer bu düz bir cümle olsaydı, statement olsaydı, everybody waits here demesi gerekirdi S takısıyla. Gördüğünüz gibi S takısı yoksa bu bir imperatif cümle olduğunu gösteriyor diyebiliriz bize. Okay, let's go on. So questions are of several different kinds. And an utterance is a question if it has one or more of these 4 markers to state that a statement or an utterance is a question, we need to see these 4 markers: rising intonation, inverted word order, devrik cümle yapısı yani, a question word, these are examples, or the word or might imply that the utterance is a question. So the different types of questions are distinguished on the basis of the markers present in this utterance. So let's see the examples. One kind of question has the word order of a statement but is spoken with a rising tune instead of a falling one. It might seem like a normal statement, but we understand through the rising tune that it is a question actually. Like, you are saying this now? So it might show you that this is a question sentence. You heard me? It is also a question. This is a joke. You can see that these are the example of question, though they might seem in the form of a normal statement. So the marker is the intonation here, because we understand the sentence is a question through the intonation marker. So these are yes-no questions, and the speaker is asking for confirmation or denial of what he understands. Such questions are most likely when the questioner has heard something and wants a repetition. So you can see also, you can understand the intention of the speaker if we come across such a question. So another option, a more common sort of question is made with inversion. Bir diğer örnek de devrik cümle yapısı. Putting an operator in the first place. So what is operator? So operator, a form of be or have, or one of the modal verbs like can, could, will, would, shall, should. So which follows the subject in a statement, precedes the statement in a question. Like, if the statement has no such operator, the empty form do occurs in the corresponding question. Let's see the examples here. Are you saying this now? Or did you hear me? Is it a joke? You can see that these are the normal question sentences actually that you already know. These are also yes-no question, as in the first one. The marker is the inverted word order, and consequently intonation is less important, and either a rising or falling tune may be used. Yani gördüğünüz gibi burada marker arkadaşlar kelime sıralaması. Yani inverted word order diyoruz. Yardımcı fiilin başa getirilmesiyle soru elde edilmesinin dil bilimindeki adı diyelim buna. Dolayısıyla eğer bu şekilde net soru olduğu kelime sıralamasından anlaşılıyor ise intonation'ın da bir önemi yoktur arkadaşlar. Çünkü burada markerımız intonation olmuyor. Bu cümlenin ya da bu statement'ın ya da utterance'ın soru cümlesi olduğunu anlamamız için burada marker gerekmiyor. Kelime dizilişi markerımız çünkü. Okay, let's go on. So another way of asking the same thing is to make a statement and attach a tag question. Kısa sorular arkadaşlar, değil mi soruları. The tag question has an operator which matches the verb of the statement and a pronoun which matches the subject. So you are saying this now, aren't you? You can see that the auxiliary and the question tag complies with each other. So it should match the auxiliary or the, let's say, verb or the tense of the sentence. You heard me, didn't you? So simple past tense, and you can see the simple past tense with did. This is a joke, isn't it? You aren't living now, are you? And you can see that these are the question tag examples. There are two different intonations possible. It might be rising tune or falling tune. The tag is typically negative after the affirmative statement and affirmative after the negative statement. Cümleniz olumluysa tag olumsuz oluyor. Cümleniz olumsuzsa tag olumlu oluyor. Yani zıt şekilde olması gerekiyor. Okay, let's go on. However, there is a less common type of sentence in which an affirmative tag follows an affirmative statement. Bazen olumlu cümleyi olumlu tek question takip edebiliyor. Neden olduğunu görelim örnekleriyle beraber. You are saying this now, are you? You heard me, did you? This is a joke, is it? So these are typically spoken with a falling tone on the tag. Vurgunun düşmesi gerekiyor arkadaşlar. Eğer olumlu cümleyi olumlu tek yaptıysanız vurguyla düşürmeniz gerekiyor. And they convey a special meaning of disbelief or detachment. Yani soruyu soran kişi aslında bu duruma inanmıyor. Onu göstermek için olumlu cümleye olumlu tek question yapılmış arkadaşlar. İstisnai durumdur. So let's see number 4. The next type of question has inverted word order, but it cannot be answered simply yes or no. The marker is the word or. Okay, these question types might seem like yes-no question, but these are not yes-no question because they propose an option or varieties of option to the listener with or phrase. Or kullanarak opsiyon sunuyor. Yes no question değil arkadaşlar. Would you like juice or milk? Yani bu soruya evet ya da hayır diyemezsiniz arkadaşlar. Yes, bakın yardımcı fiille başlamasına rağmen yes ya da no diyemezsiniz. Çünkü or ile opsiyon sunuyor bize. Are you interested in basketball or volleyball? You can see that there are two options. So this is not a yes no question. The usual intonation is a rise on the first part, like juice and basketball, and the fall on the second part, like milk and volleyball, might be the falling intonation. The questioner gives the addressee two or more alternative and asks for a choice in these kind of questions. So the next questions have a question word or like WH question word, but are also marked with a rising, marked by rising intonation, like she left it where? He came when? When did you bring what? Who bring it? Like WH question has the rising intonation. Where did she leave it? When did he come? The question word may appear at the beginning of the question or in the same position in the sentence as the answer would appear. It doesn't matter. The question word is the place where the voice rises. So this is the important part here. WH question word should have the rising intonation here. These ask for a repetition or confirmation of something said previously when the questioner can pinpoint what needs repetition or confirmation. Neyin tekrar edilmesi ya da onaylanması gerektiğini gösterdiği için soru kelimesinin olduğu yer yüksek vurguyla söylenmeli. He came when indicates that the speaker has been told the time of arrival but didn't get it or doesn't believe it. So the speaker here, he came when, if he asked the question like this, actually he didn't understand the time. That's why he asked the question like this, for a repetition actually. So question that have a question word and do not have a rising intonation, or at least not on the question word, ask for new information, not for repetition or confirmation. The same question, but it asks for a new information. So it really means the question itself. It doesn't ask for repetition or confirmation. Like, who bring the book? Ask for really who bring the book. How many people are invited? So the speaker here really wonders how many people. So he really asks for the number of people. So why are you laughing? Really ask for a reason of the listener, let's say. So important notes here. So let's see them. A question that begins with a question word carries a certain presupposition. So what is it? This is really important. So let's see what is presupposition first, just to remind it to you. A presupposition is something that the speaker assumes to be the case prior to making an utterance. Like, who is to blame for this? Presupposes that someone is to blame for sure. So what do you do why do you do that to annoy me? Presupposes that the person is purposefully doing something to annoy you. So we understand, we presuppose these facts from this question on the first hand. So what do the following question presuppose? You can see the examples here. There are 6 different questions here. When did she travel to the USA? So we can, let's criticize these sentences together. We can presuppose from this question that she for sure traveled to the USA. But we don't know the time of the action. Where did you buy the book? So we can presuppose that the addressee for sure bought a book. When did the movie start? So for sure the movie already started. Why are you so anxious? So the addressee seems like he or she is anxious. We can presuppose it. How many people came to the party? So for sure there is a party and some people are supposed to visit the party. Why didn't you tell me the truth? So we can presuppose that the addressee, the listener, for sure didn't tell the truth to the speaker of this question. So we can presuppose these facts from these questions. So let's look at the following part of important notes, number 2. Affirmative and negative statements with the same topic and same predicate are contradictory. If one is true, the other must be false. Like Mary has curly hair, we can certainly presuppose that Mary doesn't have, we cannot say that actually Mary doesn't have curly hair. So the opposite, the negative form of the sentence should accept it to be false if the first one is true, or vice versa. So let's look at number 3. Comments can also be affirmative or negative. Emir cümleleri olumlu ya da olumsuz olabilir. Affirmative and negative comments with the same lexical content are contradictory in the sense that no one can obey both such comments at the same time. Like pay the bill, don't pay the bill. So if one is commanded, the second one cannot be commanded for sure. So the same person cannot obey both of them at the same time because one of them is the negative form of the other one. So important notes, number 4. Affirmative and negative questions with the same lexical content cannot be called contradictory. Aynı durum soru cümleleri için geçerli değil arkadaşlar. Biri diğerinin olumlusuysa kesinlikle zıttıdır diyemeyiz yani. Okay, let's do the example. Did you read the book? Didn't you read the book? You can see that this question asks the listener if he or she read the book or didn't read the book. So, although the second question is the negative form of the first one, we cannot say these number 1 and number 2 are contradictory questions. We cannot claim it because in questions there is not such a rule actually as in the let's say imperative sentences. So when we ask a person about these two questions, his or her presuppositions do not contradict each other. Both questions ask whether the person has read the book or not. So both of the questions ask the same thing. Okay, now let's look at analysis of speech acts. So the truth conditional semantics takes statements as the basic kind of sentence, and this considers that the principal use of language is to state facts, to describe how things are in the world, to present information which generally is either true or false. And whenever one person speaks to another, the speaker has some intention in producing the utterance, and the addressee interprets the utterance. So according to Austen, we can distinguish 3 things in every speech act: locution, illocution, and perlocution. So the utterance can be called the locution. So it is the utterance of any speaker. So the speaker intends to communicate to addressee is the illocution. I mean the speaker's intention. Illocution is the speaker's intention of communication. And the message and the addressee's interpretation of what speaker says is the prelocution. So this is what the listener understands from the speaker. So illocution is the intention of the speaker, and prelocution is the message that the addressee interpret through the message, let's say. If communication is successful, the illocution, I mean the intention of the speaker, and perlocution, the thing that the listener understood, are alike or nearly alike. So the intention and the perceived message are alike or nearly alike if the communication is successful. And such communication is guided for 4 facts. I mean successful communication is guided by 4 facts, which Greece called maxims. We are going to see what they mean. The maximum of quantity, the maximum of relevance, the maximum of manner, and the maximum of quality. This relevance sometimes called relative, the maximum of relativeness. Let's see the examples. So the maximum of quantity requires the speaker to give as much information as the addressee needs, but no more. So the quantity refers to the idea that the speaker should utter in the quantity of needed to convey the message. And the maximum of the relevance requires us as speaker to make our utterance relative to the discourse going on and the context in which they occur. So the relevance, ilgili alakalı olma diyelim, refers to the fact that actually the message should be related to the context and should be related to the discourse of the speech, let's say. And the maximum of the manner is to be orderly and clear, to avoid ambiguity, to be clear and to stay away from ambiguity, directs us to the maximum of manner. And the maximum of quality is to say only what one believes to be true. So quality means getting away or getting rid of the let's say the things that the speaker does not believe to be true. The only ideas or messages that the speaker believes to be true is conveyed to the listener. So it increases the quality, as you can get the idea. So here you can see a table with the examples of the maxims like quantity, quality, like relation or relevance, they are same, and manner. You can check these examples yourself. So let's move on. So there are 7 kinds of speech acts, but we are going to get familiar with the first 2 of them in this video. And in the following video, in the next week's video, we are going to see the rest of the speech acts types. So in this video, you are going to see today assertive utterances and performative utterances, and the last 4 will be in the next week's video. So assertive utterances to start with. So it is to tell what is known or believed. The purpose is to inform. It asserts an idea. So it is concerned with facts. Assertive utterances are either true or false, but for sure they assert a fact actually. So they can be verified or they can be falsified in the same way. So we will see the examples. So indirect assertive utterances, direct assertive utterances, or reported assertive utterances. You can see in 3 different categories, but they are all assertive utterances. So indirect one, I voted for Aronson in the last election. So I say that I voted for Aronson in the last election is the example of direct assertive utterances. and reported assertive utterances. Jarvis announced that he is voting for Aronson. This is a kind of reported speech example, and this sentence asserts the fact that this person is going to vote for somebody. So it asserts this fact to us. And another example of indirect assertive utterance: most plastics are made from soybeans. And so we declare that most plastics are made from soybeans. So if we say, I say, we declare, or such things, so these are the example of direct assertive utterances. As you can see here, the explanation. They should start with I or we subjects and assertive verbs like declare, announce, say. So let's move on. Here you can see some examples of assertive verbs like allege, announce, agree, report, remind, predict, protest. These are the example of assertive verbs, and they are independent of time and aspects and are neutral with respect to who is involved in what is reported. So they are comments on a state of affairs actually. So the second type of speech act and the last topic today is the performative utterances. So speech acts that bring about the state of affairs are the performative utterances. So performative utterances are valid if spoken by someone whose right to make them is accepted and in circumstances which are accepted as appropriate. So you will understand what I mean. The verbs of these performative utterances are like nominate, bet, declare, baptize, pronounce, name. These are the example of verbs to make performative utterances. We will see the examples in a more detailed way. But let's see the features of performative utterances. So there are strong limitations on what can be a performative utterances. So the subject of the sentence must be I or we. There are no other, let's say, alternative. So the verb must be in the present tense. In performative utterances, the main verb must be in present tense. There is no, again, another alternative. And the speaker must be recognized as having the authority. This is a crucial idea here. The speaker must have the authority to do the verb, let's say, or to make the statement, and the circumstance must be appropriate. And as a, let's say, a detail, like blessing and curses are also accepted as performative utterances to the degree that people accept them as having effect. So you will see how these blessing and curses are detailed in performative utterances. Let's see the examples. So here you can see the examples of performative utterances. So here the first examples indicates that I declare this meeting adjourned. You can see the subject is I and the verb is an assertive verb example. So the other one is we accept your offer. I pronounce you man and wife. I sentence you to 10 years imprisonment. For now, skip this God bless you example. I will explain it after other 4 examples. Like I declare, we accept, I sentence you, or I pronounce you man and wife. In these examples, you can see that the speaker has the authority to make this statement. For example, let's look at the last example. I sentence you to 10 years imprisonment. So we can understand that this performative utterance is made by a judge in a court, and it is this sentence is accepted as appropriate if it is made in a court actually. Okay, these 4 sentences are the very good examples of performative utterances. When it comes to God bless you example, in the previous page I said that blessings and cursing sentences are also accepted as examples of performative utterances. This is a detail, like God bless you, although we know that performative utterances must have I and we as the subject. God bless you is just an exception for this topic, okay? So let's move on. Like, I sentence you to 10 years imprisonment. So the judge has the right, the judge, as the speaker of this sentence, has the right to sentence someone to prison, and the setting is formal and it is an official act, as you can understand from the utterance. Like, I pronounce you man and wife. This is a sentence that you can hear when somebody is getting married. So the speaker must be recognized as having the authority to make the statement. So it is the official person who can say this sentence officially. And the circumstance must be appropriate. It must be in an official center or a wedding hall. And the priest, or let's say in Islam it might be imam, has the authority to pronounce you as man and wife in a religious way, So, I pronounce you man and wife is the sentence, is a performative utterance which we can hear in the appropriate context, let's say. So, this was the end of our presentation today. So, thanks for watching this video, and if you have any question, you can write to my email, as I said in the beginning of our video. So, hope to see you again. Thanks. Bye-bye.